नमस्कार, मैं हूं भावना और स्वागत है आपका द एस्पिरेंट्स क्लब के प्लेटफॉर्म पर। यहां हम लेकर आते हैं आपके लिए डेली न्यूज़पेपर डिस्कशन, इससे जुड़े कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिफिकेशंस और साथ ही कुछ स्ट्रैटेजिक टिप्स और ट्रिक्स जो आपकी तैयारी को आसान बनाता है। तो आइए बढ़ते हैं आज के न्यूज़पेपर की तरफ। तो जो पहला आर्टिकल है दैट इज अबाउट इंडियन पावर प्रोजेक्ट रिप्लेसिंग चाइनीज वेंचर्स इन श्रीलंका। सो वी विल बी डीलिंग दिस आर्टिकल इन डिटेल्स। तो अगर बात करें कॉन्टेक्स्ट की, तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट ये है कि इंडिया विल सेट अप हाइब्रिड पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स इन 3 islands ऑफ जाफना, इफेक्टिवली रिप्लेसिंग द चाइनीज वेंचर्स क्लियर्ड बाय कोलंबो लास्ट ईयर। अगर इसकी लिंक की बात करें तो ये जो इंडिया का थर्ड एनर्जी प्रोजेक्ट है जो श्रीलंका में जो श्रीलंका का नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न रीजन है वहाँ पे इसके आने की जो प्रतिबद्धता है वो यहाँ पे बढ़ती दिखाई दे रही है। नाउ द रीसेंट एग्रीमेंट्स फॉर नेशनल थर्मल पावर कॉर्पोरेशन सोलर वेंचर इन ईस्टर्न Sampur town and the Adani Group's renewable energy project in Mannar and Puneren in North. अगर कहानी की बात करें तो इन जनवरी 2021 श्रीलंका's cabinet decided to award renewable energy project in Nainativu Delft and Nedovuntivu and Anativu Island to Chinese from Sinosar Echwin. Now, India was quick to express concern over the Chinese project coming up in Park Bay, barely 50 kilometers of Tamil Nadu. और ये जो प्रोजेक्ट है with a grant rather than a loan, unable to pick a side for over an year, Colombo kept this project in suspension. अब इंडिया के ऑब्जेक्शन के बाद कोलंबो ने क्या किया, श्रीलंका ने क्या किया, इस प्रोजेक्ट को थोड़े टाइम के लिए सस्पेंड कर दिया एंड अपियरेंटली दिस प्रोजेक्ट वाज कॉल्ड ऑफ फॉर चाइनीज वेंचर्स। अब अगर बात करें इस आर्टिकल के एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव की, तो एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव से क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है, एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव से आपके लिए समझना इंपॉर्टेंट है इंडो श्रीलंका रिलेशन, उसका हिस्टोरिकल सिग्निफिकेंस, साथ ही क्या स्ट्रैटेजिक टाइज रहे हैं, डेवलपमेंटल एंड कोऑपरेशन स्टेटस, कमर्शियल रिलेशन, जो फिशरमैन इशू है जो कि बहुत तीव्रता से बढ़ता हुआ दिखाई देता है इंडो श्रीलंका रिलेशन में, that is something that is important. Again, one of the most important thing is the challenges in India Sri Lanka relation. This is something that you need to understand from the mains perspective. क्वेश्चंस किस तरीके के आप यहाँ से प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं, तो आप यहाँ पे समझ सकते हैं कि कमर्शियल रिलेशन बिटवीन इंडिया एंड श्रीलंका, हाउ आर द कमर्शियल रिलेशंस बिटवीन इंडिया एंड श्रीलंका, एंड एट द सेम टाइम हाउ इंडिया एंड श्रीलंका डिप्लोमेटिक टाइज रिलाइज। तो इस तरीके की जो क्वेश्चंस हैं ये यहाँ पे आप प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं। अब आइए बात करते हैं कि स्ट्रैटेजिक सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है श्रीलंका का इंडिया के लिए। तो Sri Lanka is located at the southern tip of peninsular India, and this is something which is strategically very important for India in most comprehensive sense. क्यों important है ये इंडिया के लिए? Because the strategic importance of Sri Lanka was very well realized by Britain for the security of both British India and the Indian Ocean, and इस वजह से they developed a very major naval base at Trincomalee of eastern coast. Now, this island lies astride the major this island lies astride the major naval base at Trincomalee eastern coast. और ये जो island nation है ये sea lenses के बहुत close है, and from that makes the communication from Europe to East Asia very easy, and the oil tanker routes from oil producing countries of Gulf of China, Japan and other Pacific countries become very easy because of this naval coast. Now, in the military sense, ये क्यों important है? In the military sense, it is important because for US, it is important in the perspective that the same sea routes are used for transference of naval power from the Pacific Ocean to Indian Ocean and Gulf of India to and this something like this has a very vital strategic state in Sri Lanka for her own security interest. Now, an unfriendly Sri Lanka would strategically discomfort India. So, for this reason, an important and a friendly tie between India and Sri Lanka becomes very important. Also, Sri Lanka becomes strategically important to India in terms of her Indian Ocean strategy and in terms of networking of partners for her aim to establish an Indian Ocean Rim community. इसके अलावा अगर हम बात करें इंडियन नेवी की तो इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट एज स्विचिंग ऑफ नेवल fleets from the Bay of Bengal to Arabian Sea and vice versa, and this fleet has to take a round of Sri Lanka. So because of the navy perspective this becomes very important. अगला जो reason है that is something very important, that is exposure to China's Belt and Road Initiative through terminals in Port of Colombo and Port of Hambantota. Now, both of these have attracted Chinese investment. China is one of the Sri Lanka's key trading partners. तो ये जो deep water ports हैं who are capacitated to facilitate these ventures, ये जो है इस perspective से इंडिया के लिए strategically इनका importance बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाता है to keep an eye on how China is investing in its trade and everything in the other nations. So these are about the strategic importances of Sri Lanka for India. Now, if I talk about the India-Sri Lanka economic ties, so India and Sri Lanka enjoy a very vibrant and growing economic commercial partnership. Now, this has witnessed considerable expansion over the years, and the entry into force of India-Sri Lanka Free Trade Agreement (ISFTA) again ये prelims के perspective से बहुत important है ISFTA. Now, this is something that you can take as a homework for the research. जो ISFTA है that came into being in 2000 and it contributed significantly towards the expansion of trade between India and Sri Lanka. Now, जो ये ट्रेड है दैट ऑल्सो इंक्लूड्स इंडिया एंड Sri Lanka's free trade agreement that we already discussed. Now, the economic ties between the two nations also include a flourishing development partnership that encompasses areas such as infrastructure and connectivity. तो इस perspective से भी जो हमारा commercial tie है वो बहुत important हो जाता है. But from the perspective of commercial partnership, ISFTA is something which is really important that you need to focus. ओके अब इश्यूज क्या क्या है इंडिया श्रीलंका रिलेशनशिप में. पहला इशू तो चाइना फैक्टर. नाउ चाइना फैक्टर इन इंडिया श्रीलंका relationship is something which is very crucial and critical in terms of being the platform of India-China strategic competition. Sri Lanka has endorsed China's flagship connectivity project, the Belt and Road Initiative also. Now, it is also one of the important nodes for China's maritime strategy. दूसरा जो इशू है दैट इज लैक ऑफ bipartisan support to India-Sri Lanka ties, and this soured the problems when Mahindra Rajapaksa leased the strategical significant port of Hambantota to China. Now, this was an issue which became highly sensitive for India to digest. दूसरा issue is the ethnic issue. Since this issue has been a prolonged conflict between Sinhala majority and the Tamil majority in Sri Lanka, that has और ये जो एक issue है, I mean that issue has really undermined the bilateral ties between the two countries in the recent decade. इसके अलावा जो अगला इशू है दैट इज अबाउट फिशिंग डिस्प्यूट. नाउ गिवन दैट द प्रॉक्सिमिटी ऑफ टेरिटोरियल वाटर ऑफ बोथ द कंट्रीज स्पेशली इन पाक स्ट्रेट्स एंड गल्फ ऑफ मन्नार, इंसिडेंट्स ऑफ स्टेइंग ऑफ फिशरमैन जो है जो दोनों कंट्रीज हैं कि वो यहाँ पे कॉमन हो जाते हैं क्योंकि कुछ जो एरियाज हैं वाटर शेयरिंग एरियाज दैट शेयर कॉमनैलिटी, तो उसकी वजह से फिशरमैन इशू जो है दैट बिकम्स अ वेरी significant issue in Indo-Sri Lanka relationship. So these are some of the issues that we discussed, and apart from the issues we discussed Sri Lanka's strategic significance for India. We discussed the key points in commercial tie between India and Sri Lanka. We discussed the context, the venturing of China's initiatives and everything. and why this is something that can piss off India Sri Lanka relation. So these are the things that we just had, and these are also the things which is very important from the perspective of exams. तो ये हमने देख लिया, क्वेश्चंस हमने देख लिए, प्रीलिम्स और मेंस के लिए क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है ये भी हमने देख लिया. So now let's move forward to the next article. So if you scroll down in the sidewise, there is an article that talks about Assam and Meghalaya pact to end border row. Okay. So this article is a very small article, but something which is really important from the perspective of exam. So let's discuss this. Okay, so talking about the very context of this article, Assam and Meghalaya have partially resolved a 50-year-old border dispute in 6 of the 12 sectors, along with their 885-kilometer boundary. तो सबसे पहले समझ लेते हैं कि ये जो बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट है ये पॉइंट ऑफ कंटेंशन क्या है. So a major point of contention between Assam and Meghalaya is the district of Langpi in West Garo Hills that borders Kamrup district of Assam. ये जो कंस्ट्रक्शन है डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स का जो इशू है वी विल बी डीलिंग विद इट, हम मैप के थ्रू इसको समझेंगे, बट फॉर नाउ लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड इट इन डिटेल. So Langpi was a part of Kamrup district during the British colonial period, but post-independence it became the part of Garo Hills and Meghalaya. Now Assam still considers it to be the part of that is Mikir Hills in Assam. So that is one of the major issue. अब अगर हम इस इशू के की पॉइंट्स की बात करें तो असम एंड मेघालय शेयर 885 किलोमीटर लॉन्ग बॉर्डर्स एंड एज ऑफ नाउ देयर आर 12 पॉइंट्स ऑफ डिस्प्यूट अमंग देयर बॉर्डर्स. The Assam Meghalaya border dispute are the areas of Upper Tarabari Gazang Reserve Forest, Hahim, Langpi, Bordwar, Bokalpara, Nongwa, Matamud, Kanapada, Pilangata and Desh Moria Block 1, Block 2 and Khandui and Retachera. ये जो एरियाज है ये असम और मेघालय के बीच के जो डिस्प्यूट के एरियाज हैं उसके एरियाज जो हैं वो ये हैं. इसके अलावा मेघालय was carved out of Assam during the Assam Reorganization Act 1971. And this law was further challenged by Assam, which led to the dispute. अब बात करते हैं इस आर्टिकल में एग्जाम के पर्सपेक्टिव से क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो प्रीलिम्स के पर्सपेक्टिव से आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है असम मेघालय बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट का जो की पॉइंट है जो हमने अभी अभी डिस्कस किया. इसके अलावा आर्टिकल 263 जो है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का, इसको आप एक बार ज़रूर पढ़िएगा, दैट्स योर होमवर्क. तो ये क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इसको आपको समझना है. For mains, what is important is interstate border dispute and the related issues and what can be the way ahead. तो अगर हम बात करें way ahead की जो boundary disputes है उसके बारे में, तो boundary disputes between the states can be settled by using satellite mapping of actual border locations. और इसके अलावा हम एक और चीज़ कर सकते हैं, that is to revive the interstate council and that can be another option for resolution of an interstate dispute. आर्टिकल 263 जिसकी अभी हम बात कर रहे थे, तो आर्टिकल 263 जो है वो इंटर स्टेट डिस्प्यूट को ही एड्रेस करता है एंड अंडर दिस एन इंटर स्टेट काउंसिल इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू इंक्वायर एंड एडवाइज ऑन डिस्प्यूट्स, they discuss the subjects common to all states and make the recommendation for better policy coordination. Similarly, zonal council जो है उनको भी रिवाइव करने की ज़रूरत है to discuss the matter of common concern of states in each zone and to discuss the matter relating to social and economic planning along with the border dispute and interstate transports. ठीक है, तो ये तो हमने समझा कि बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट्स के लिए क्या वे फॉरवर्ड है. अब ये जो यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम है असम और मेघालय के बीच में जो इनका बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट है, हाउ दैट कैन बी रिजॉल्व्ड एंड व्हाट आर द एफर्ट्स दैट हैव ऑलरेडी बीन टेकन फॉर दिस रेजोल्यूशन. So both Assam and Meghalaya have constituted border dispute settlement committees. ठीक है, and इसके बाद it has been decided to get a setup up for regional committees to resolve the border disputes in phased manner. and 5 aspects will be considered while resolving the border disputes. तो ये 5 aspect क्या क्या है? ये 5 aspect है historical facts, ethnicity, administrative convenience, mood and sentiments of the people and contiguity of the land. तो ये जो है ये 5 aspects हैं जिनको ध्यान में रख करके जो रेजोल्यूशन कमेटी है वो यहाँ पे फॉर्म की गई है। अब बात करें कि किस तरीके के क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछे जा सकते हैं, तो आपसे यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन इस तरीके से पूछा जा सकता है दैट व्हाट कैन बी द वे फॉरवर्ड टू रिजॉल्व द बॉर्डर इश्यूज बिटवीन द स्टेट दैट गिवन दैट इंडिया इज अ लैंड ऑफ डाइवर्सिटी। तो वे फॉरवर्ड क्या क्या हो सकता है इंटरस्टेट बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट को रिजॉल्व करने के। अब इस आर्टिकल से आपका मेजर टेक अवे क्या होना चाहिए? ऑफ कोर्स ये जो बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट है मेघालय असम दैट यू हैव टू कीप इन योर हेड। Apart from that, we already discussed what can be the way forward to resolve the border disputes. Question किस तरीके से बन सकते हैं, prelims और mains में क्या important है, आर्टिकल 263 क्या है, हमने समझ लिया। अब आपका होमवर्क ये है कि जो दूसरे बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट्स हैं डिफरेंट स्टेट्स में, जैसे कि बेलागावी बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट है कर्नाटका और महाराष्ट्र के बीच में, ओडिशा के अपने बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट्स हैं, so you have to read on these border disputes and simultaneously you can make a note of these border disputes. Now as I promised, we will be discussing on the map कि जो प्रॉब्लम है वो कैसे रिवील हो रहा है। सो ये आप देख सकते हैं, दिस इज असम, ओके, एंड दिस इज द रीजन ऑफ मेघालय। नाउ दिस इज वेस्ट खासी हिल्स, और ये जो एरिया है लांगपी, which has become the problem between Assam and Meghalaya because both are exerting their claims on Langpi. Okay, so this was it for this article. Now moving forward to the next article. तो जो अगला आर्टिकल है आपका दैट इज ऑन पेज नंबर 2, द सिटी न्यूज का सेक्शन। सो यहाँ पे यू हैव एन आर्टिकल अबाउट डीडीए स्कीम्स दैट बायर्स आर लूजिंग स्कीम्स इन डीडीए स्कीम्स। तो अगर हम इसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट की बात करें तो विद द दिल्ली डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी लुकिंग टू अट्रैक्ट मोर बायर्स फॉर इट्स अनसोल्ड फ्लैट्स बाय अमेंडिंग इट्स हाउसिंग रेगुलेशन डॉक्यूमेंट्स show that all the housing schemes launched by the authority since 2014 have received a poor response. Okay, so that was the context. Now हमारे लिए important क्या है? सबसे पहले DDA यानी कि दिल्ली डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी। तो दिल्ली डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी क्या है? दिल्ली डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी was created in 1955 under the provisions of Delhi Development Act to promote and secure the development of Delhi. ओके, तो डीडीए से जुड़ी जो इंफॉर्मेशन है दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस फ्रॉम द प्रीलिम्स पर्सपेक्टिव। नाउ लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड सम ऑफ द की फीचर्स एंड की इनिशिएटिव्स ऑफ डीडीए। तो पहली जो चीज हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है दैट इज मास्टर प्लान ऑफ डीडीए। सो डीडीए has launched a master plan for 2000 till 2041 to be completed. Now this master plan focuses on sustainability, inclusivity and equity. Now this is something which is important. ये जो डीडीए और डीडीए स्कीम्स हैं ये आपके पॉलिटी के पर्सपेक्टिव से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं, तो यहाँ इसको समझना ज़रूरी हो जाता है थोड़ा। नाउ ऑल्सो इट endeavors to be proactive and forward looking in the nature and accounts for current emerging and anticipated drivers of urban development. ठीक है। इसके अलावा अगर हम बात करें और भी जो कुछ की फीचर्स हैं या जो एरिया ऑफ फोकस है डीडीए का वो क्या है, तो एरिया ऑफ फोकस जो है डीडीए का दैट इज अ ब्लू ग्रीन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, दैट डीडीए इज विलिंग टू क्रिएट अ ब्लू ग्रीन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। ब्लू ग्रीन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्या है इसके बारे में हम बात करेंगे। एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट द साइकिलिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, वॉकिंग सर्किट्स फॉर पेडेस्ट्रियंस एंड फोकस ऑन unauthorized colony to make it less dense. Now there is also a plan to develop space for yoga, active sports and open air exhibitions, museums and information centers. और इसके अलावा other low impact public uses. Now, if we talk about the master plan of DDA, the master plan of DDA aims to fulfill the various provisions of sustainable development goals SDGs like first the SDG 6 that is about clean water and sanitation, SDG 11 that is about sustainable cities and communities, SDG 14 that is about life below water, and SDG 15 that is about life on land. Again सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स जो है वो भी आपके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं एग्जाम के परस्पेक्टिव से, तो दैट इज अ मस्ट रीड एंड मस्ट take away from this article. You need to read this. Now, as I said, we'll be talking about blue green infra policy. तो ब्लू ग्रीन इंफ्रा पॉलिसी क्या है? ब्लू ग्रीन इंफ्रा पॉलिसी refers to urban planning where water bodies and land are independent and grow with the help of each other while offering environmental and social benefits. Now, if I talk about the blue infrastructure, it refers to the water bodies like rivers, canals, ponds, wetlands, floodplains, and water treatment facilities. And the green stands for trees, lawns, hedgerows, parks, and fields. So this was about the blue-green infrastructure policy. So these are the things that are must take away from this article. Pehla, DDA से related information, the key points of its master plan, then the focus area of DDA, and a must take away is the blue-green infra policy. ठीक है. So that is about this article. Now let's move towards the next article. Okay, so the next article is on page number 6, that is the state news ka section. The article heads under the statement that rhino population is up by 200 in Kaziranga. So talking about the context, the population of greater one-horned Indian rhino in Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve has increased by 200 in 4 years. Now, the latest census of the World Heritage Site's flagship animal has revealed this information. Also, if we talk about the other animals, census confined to rhino bearing area of 864 km, and it was the census was conducted from March 25 to 28, and the counting was done later, and that said that 50 elephants were deployed to cover all the 84 compartments of the park. In addition, 125 enumerators are independent observers, and 252 frontline staff were involved in the exercise. Okay, not something significant. Now talking about the important takeaways. तो एग्जाम के perspective से आपके लिए important है काजीरंगा नेशनल पार्क और राइनोसॉर्स. राइनोसॉर्स के ऊपर हमने एक आर्टिकल पहले भी किया है, but let's discuss it again. So again this article is important from your GS paper 3, that is conservation government policies and interventions. Now what are the key points about Kaziranga National Park? It is located in the state of Assam and covers 42,996 hectares, and it is the single largest undistributed and representative area in Brahmaputra Valley floodplain. Legal status क्या है? Legal status is that it was declared as National Park in 1974 and it has been declared a tiger reserve since 2007. Also, it has a total tiger reserve area of 1030 square kilometer with the core area of 430 square kilometer. Now, talking about the international status, so it was declared as UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985, and now it is recognized as an important bird area by BirdLife International. Okay, what are the species that are found here? The important species, it is home for the world's most one-horned rhinos. Porbitura Wildlife Sanctuary has the highest density of world-horned rhinos. This is something important for the informative perspective. And the second highest number of rhinos are found in Assam after Kaziranga National Park. Now, much of the focus of conservation efforts in Kaziranga are focused on big four species, that is rhino, elephant, Royal Bengal tiger, and Asiatic water buffalo. ठीक है. So this was the information that we just understood about काजीरंगा नेशनल पार्क. अगर बात करें काजीरंगा नेशनल पार्क के लोकेशन की, तो yeah, let me enlarge this a bit. So here you see in this map that this is yeah, here you see you have wildlife sanctuaries, and this is the Kaziranga National Park. Here it boundaries Arunachal Pradesh, and this is the boundary of Meghalaya, and here you can see the situation of Kaziranga National Park. And yeah, apart from that, if we talk about the other wildlife sanctuary, so here you have Holongar Gibbon Wildlife Sanctuary, Then you have Lokahova Wildlife Sanctuary, Orang National Park, and here you have Manas Wildlife Sanctuary, which is also very important. Then you have Debru Shilovoka National Park. Now, what you can do is just simply Google search these wildlife sanctuaries, mark their locations, and understand the important species that are found here. Okay, so now this was about the Kaziranga National Park. Let's talk about the one-horned rhinos. So, yeah, there are five species of rhinos there. White and black rhinos are found in Africa, and the greater one-horned rhino, Javan, and Sumatran rhino species are in India. If we talk about the IUCN status, that's the red list status there. And black rhino comes under critically endangered species, and it is smaller of the two African species. White rhino is marked as near threatened, and one-horned rhino is marked vulnerable. Javan is marked critically endangered, and Sumatran rhino is also marked critically endangered, and that was found in Malaysia, but now it is critically extended. Now, talking about the habitats of these rhinos, so the species are restricted to very small habitats. The one-horned rhino, they are restricted to very small habitats in Indo-Nepal, Terai, and northern West Bengal and Assam. In India, rhinos are mainly found in Assam and West Bengal. Assam has estimated 2640 rhinos in four protected areas, that is Babidora Wildlife Reserve, Rajiv Gandhi Orang National Park, we just saw them on the map, and Kaziranga National Park and Manas National Park. Okay, so that was about the yeah, that was about the habitat. Protection status, we already saw that, but apart from the citation, they are scheduled and protected under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, Schedule 1. So these were some of the important informations related to one-horned rhino and Kaziranga National Park that we just saw. Again, this article is something which is very important from the prelims perspective, so you definitely need to keep this in mind. Now, if we move towards the next article, you have a really good article on OPED section, that is unreformable criminal justice. That's a read it yourself, something that can help you to add to your analytic skills. Now, moving forward to the text and context section, you have an article about fake news. So, it heads as Facebook and fake news. अगर बात करें कॉन्टेक्स्ट के बारे में तो द पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमिटी ऑन इंफॉर्मेशन एंड टेक्नोलॉजी ऑन मंडे question Facebook official over allegation that algorithm used for its advertising platform unfairly promotes one political party, besides claims that hate content is rewarded on the platform. Okay, so this was something which was alleged against Facebook. Now, Facebook is not something which is important for us. The important thing is the propagation of fake news. Now, combating fake news is something which is a very growing narrative of the technology platforms like Facebook, Google, news media, and even Twitter. So, the fake news affects free speech and informed choices of the subject of country, which leads to the hijacking of democracy. नाउ टॉकिंग अबाउट कि फेक न्यूज़ क्या होता है, तो फेक न्यूज़ कोई भी ऐसा न्यूज़ जो हॉक्सेस स्टोरीज या ऐसे डिलिबरेट क्रिएशन हो रीडर्स को मिस इन्फॉर्म या डिसीव करने के लिए, ऐसे न्यूज़ को हम फेक न्यूज़ बोलते हैं. तो यूजुअली दीज स्टोरीज आर क्रिएटेड टू ईदर इन्फ्लुएंस पीपल्स व्यूज, push a political agenda or cause, and sometimes to make a confusion that can often be profitable business for online publisher. Now, fake news is not a new phenomena which is linked to the rise of social media. On the contrary, from the times of ancient Greece, the government and political actors have always invested in disinformation campaigns, and that we have already seen in the political scenarios, and we are already seeing. So, this was something about the fake news. Now, the problem is कि इसके causes क्या है? पहले तो मीडिया एथिक्स का erosion. Now, the news media is no longer seen as an arbitrator of the real news. Media is alleged to be echo chamber of the dominant political class, which is something which is not good for a functioning of a democratic institution. The news media have lost credibility at the same time due to conflict and motivated reporting, which has become a source of fake news. दूसरा जो source है that is social media. Now the advent of social media has decentralized the creation and propagation of fake news. Again, if we talk about the sheer vastness of the internet, over 35 crore users in India, the social media users are estimated over 20 crore. सॉरी सोशल मीडिया यूजर्स की अगर हम बात करें जो कि 35 करोड़ है, तो केवल व्हाट्सएप यूजर जो है वो ही 20 करोड़ है. दैट मेक्स ट्रेसिंग द ओरिजिन ऑफ फेक न्यूज ऑलमोस्ट इम्पॉसिबल. आप कैसे ट्रेस कर पाएंगे? अगली जो चीज है दैट इज पोलराइजेशन ऑफ सोसाइटी. Now, increasing divide in the society on ideological lines have made the job of spreading fake news very easier. So, these are the things that are contributing to the spread of fake news, the main issue. So, नाउ कमिंग टू द क्वेश्चन पर्सपेक्टिव, किस तरीके के क्वेश्चन जो है वो इस पे बन सकते हैं. तो क्वेश्चन आपसे ऐसा पूछा जा सकता है दैट हाउ डज फेक न्यूज इफेक्ट फ्री स्पीच एंड इन्फॉर्म चॉइसेस ऑफ सिटीजन. तो इस पे आप यहाँ पे बात कर सकते हैं, जो इश्यूज हैं ऑफ कोर्स आप उनको हाईलाइट कर सकते हैं. Okay, so I think this was it about this article, and if we move forward, um, yeah, nothing. Yeah, India seeks closer to BIMSTEC partnership. BIMSTEC is something that we already discussed yesterday and day before yesterday's article, so I'm not expanding on that. Um, yeah, nothing significant in the economy section today, something very informative. The world news, we already discussed mostly about Russian oil import and export thing. So, yeah, oil prices spike and that causes disruption. India buys oil at record price from Russia. FedEx names Subramaniam as the next CEO. These are some of the informations. Sports section, not really significant today. So I think we are stopping here today. Let's meet tomorrow for the discussion again. And if you like the video, do give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe our channel. And keep yourself updated by pressing the bell icon so that whatever we bring reach you as soon as possible. Thank you and have a nice day.